Hey there, my name is AJ Pickett and I make videos about role-playing games, and lots of them. I upload twice a week with a live stream every weekend, plus you can find me on Subscribestar, Patreon and Discord, Facebook and Twitter. Also, there is an option to join the channel as a member, and I welcome any questions you have in the comments section down below. As always, if you like this video or this channel, hit that like button and subscribe if you would be so kind. Today, we are investigating the lore of some demons that are quite weird. Very weird, actually. The more you delve into them, the stranger they become. So settle back, grab yourself a tasty beverage as we get deeply nerdy about the Yochlol, the demon handmaidens of the Spider Queen, the evil goddess Lolth. The history of Lolth is quite a tale to tell, and I think it's very close to the time to tell it. But for now, we have to take a journey into the abyss, the part of it that the goddess Arushni conquered after she was declared a demon by the other elven gods. Banished from their sight, she took the name Lolth. The 66th layer of the abyss is an infinite domain known as the demonweb pits. And I'll quote Michael E. Shear in his article for Dungeon Magazine, issue 204, published online in July 2012. Imagine a corner of a dusty cellar. Moving closer, you see the walls draped by endless layers of spiderwebs, within which are shrouded the husks of dead insects, strands of foul mold, and other rot. Moving closer, you can see each strand of this web as though it was a silvery path. Now imagine tiny specks on that path, all of them moving slowly, lost, not knowing where they came from or what destination they hope to find. That group of specks, that's you and your companions. If you ever are so unfortunate as to be trapped in the demon web, a void crisscrossed by ever-shifting webs. The abyssal layer of the demon web is as twisted and deceptive as the plots spun by the Queen of the Spiders who rules there. A mortal might spend a lifetime traversing the endless paths and grey mists of this foul realm and never understand its true shape. If the strands of the demon web eventually connect to a solid outer surface, the mortals who explore this realm have never found it. Instead, they speak of a grey haze that surrounds Lolth's endless network of webs and the corpses of creatures that die here. Explorers might find the ancient ruins of cities and castles cocooned in the strands of this colossal demon web. These ruins might contain lost artifacts, mysterious magic, and perhaps even trapped immortals. Such sites can also be the staging areas and command posts for the Dark Elves and the demons that continually patrol this realm. Deep in the demon web lie the remains of gods and primordials killed and forgotten long ago. The most chaotic and dangerous denizens of the demon web dwell within these dead shells. Lolth discards her prisoners and vanquished enemies among such detritus. Each time she does so, she smiles, because life in such a place is a far worse fate than death. The demon web contains innumerable planar portals, rivaling Sigil, the City of Doors. It is a planar nexus in its connections to the multiverse from this layer of the abyss. Lolth spreads her web of control and deception from here. Some of these portals provide the only connection to desolate dominions lost in the deepest reaches of the multiverse. Others open to forgotten chambers underneath the citadels of gods. Like the strands of the demon web, these portals continually move. Only Lolth and her chief advisors know where any particular portal can be found, and even they lose track of certain portals. It's here, deep in the web, that we find the numerous crystal towers of the Yochlol. Giant pillar-like rocks held within the silk house various portals to other worlds. Each tower is staffed by 9 powerful Yochlols, each fanatically loyal to Lolth. They protect the portals and also get tasked with interrogation of particularly important subjects brought before them by the Drow. Yochlol are quite unlike other demons. In fact, most other demons reserve a special hatred for them because they willingly serve the Dark Goddess. In 4th edition D&D, the lore about their origins is mostly true. When talking about the elite Queensguard Yochlol, they are described as appearing in the form of a tall and beautiful drow female who carries a jeweled adamantine greatsword that is draped in silken webs. The greatsword is purely ceremonial, however. When engaged in combat, the Queensguard takes on its true form, a pillar of writhing tentacles with a single red eye in its centre. Yochlol Queensguards are among the most powerful and loyal servants of the Demon Queen of Spiders. Only 4 such guards exist across the multiverse, and all of them stay close to their mistress. In very rare circumstances, Lolth might send a Queensguard as an escort on a mission of vital importance. The Queensguard never speak, but they can communicate telepathically with each other and with Lolth, and can do so regardless of distance and impediments, including planar boundaries. To make one of the Queen's Guards, Lolth personally uses a pool of raw chaos and elemental matter located in the depths of the demonweb pits, a location considered by many to be Lolth's true lair. In this profane place, Lolth's chosen dark priestesses take a single mortal soul and use it as a catalyst for the formation of one of the Queen's Guard. As with the process of creating other forms of Yochlol, the process tortures the soul for hundreds of years, leaving nothing but undying loyalty to the will of Lolth. The Queen's Guard have a special ability to target enemies within 10 feet of themselves that are attacking something other than themselves. This provokes a special attack from them which lashes out with their tentacles to entangle and restrain the attacker. They also have the power to intercept harmful attacks and effects that are from an ally to themselves, as long as they are adjacent to the affected ally, and the effect can be overcome using a saving throw, so they make perfect guards. The creation of other Yochlol is different. Quoting from the Fiendish Codex, it states that Yochlol are a prime example of a specific category of a new demonic race in the Abyss, servitor demons crafted from base Tanari by a deity to serve a specific purpose. In this case, the deity is Lolth and her subjects are captured succubi. The process by which Lolth transforms a succubus into a Yochlol is a secret closely guarded by the Spider Queen, but the results are obvious. Yochlols have no ties to their sources and are their own race of demons in every way. Given time and the right conditions, the Yochlols could well diversify into numerous different races, similar to what the Tanari have become, but for now, however, the omnipresent hand of Lolth keeps them tightly focused on their role as her handmaidens. I will interject a theory here for you to consider. I see two related bits of lore, two themes. First, the Yochlols each have a single large red eye in their true form, and also, far off in the depths of the demonweb at the bottom of this vast plane is the ex-greater deity called Gunadau, the Elder Eye, as he is also known. My theory is that Lolth uses the power of this primordial entity to create the vat of raw chaos slime that breaks down and recreates the infernal essences of the succubi. Gunadau is known to simply enjoy watching his monstrous creations hunt and destroy other creatures, and he has a fondness for the Drow, as those among the Dark Elves which worship him always keep his temples and altars overflowing with the blood of living sacrifices. It's not easy to miss a shrine or temple to the Elder Eye. Rooms are typically filled with fetid mists, and foul-smelling slimes trickle down the walls to make pools and puddles on the floor. The stench is so strong, particularly in the rooms devoted to sacrifice rituals, that at times it can seem like one is swimming through air made of rotten sewage. Gunadau is a sneaky, ancient, and alien entity. It's actually Gunadau, or Guanadau, that answers prayers directed at the Prince Jubilex and the Elder Elemental God. There may be a very strong connection between Gunadau and the imprisoned greater god Tharizdun, which goes back to some point of prior incarnation of the multiverse itself. It's safe to say that the ooze-like natural state of the Yochlol can certainly be related to the influence and power of Gunadau, even if it's unlikely that Yochlols have any deeper connection to him, nor do they have special powers to summon or command oozes or anything like that. So, let's take a closer look at the details of what Yochlols look like and what they can do. In its true form, a Yochlol stands 7 feet tall and weighs 250 pounds. It looks like it's constantly melting and piling back up on itself. A truly formless, oozing shape, a pillar the colour of mustard yellow rancid bile, from which a single scarlet eye stares. 8 whip-like tendrils writhe from its sides, a dripping storm of snapping fury. Its very touch is as poisonous as the venomous bites it can deliver in its second form, that of a giant spider with a leg span of 8 feet and a reduced weight of about 160 pounds. As a humanoid, the Yochlol appears as an attractive, slender female human or elf, usually a drow elf, that stands about 6 inches taller than most other females of that race. And finally, the demon is able to transform into a toxic mist, described as an oily green murky vapour, forming a pillar of reeking smoke vaguely similar to its natural form, around 10 feet high and 5 feet wide. Combined with immunity to all toxins and resistance to cold, fire, lightning, and all non-magical physical damage, they are highly adaptable creatures that can travel to and operate in a wide variety of exotic environments across the multiverse. There's a good reason why the Yochlols are typically not found wandering freely around the Abyss, as they are unlike other demons. The transformation into a Yochlol has made them much more complicated and nuanced beings. Unlike other demons, they are capable of real emotional attachments, genuine friendship with other charismatic creatures such as mortals. However, there is a demonic twist to this behaviour. After all, Yochlol are demons. They have an innate need to dominate other creatures and find joy in both cruelty and combat. Though their love of wanton destruction is a lot more refined. First, they are choosy about what mortals they form relationships with. When given a choice, they pick partners of a gender that love them, but whose family, friends, and associates absolutely hate the very idea that they are in a relationship with a demon. The Yochlol will leap at the chance to furiously vent their anger at these suppressors and bigots, but at the same time, if a partner is killed because of their involvement with them, they don't seem to give a damn about it, other than taking revenge on anything or anyone responsible for their demise. It's like they're just using the emotions and their ability to love as an excuse to unleash violence and murder, and the proof of this is evident in that they never form emotional, loving relationships with other beings unless there are those who would hate and attack that relationship. Yochlols don't see each other as competition, even for Lolth's favour, and they certainly never side with any other creature above and against one of their own kind. Again, an unusual trait for a demon. The Handmaidens work together to further the wishes of Lolth, always. They have no interest in the blood war and the eventual destruction of the multiverse. They became free of those habits, along with a large number of the restraints imposed on their original form once they underwent Lolth's terrible transformation of themselves, a transformation that may be far more significant than it seems at first, and I'll talk about why in just a minute. Yochlols can shift freely between their various forms, going from ghastly mist to disgusting slime to loathsome spider to gorgeous humanoid from one moment to the next, particularly when they're either moving around without any concern for who is looking at them, or in combat where such mobility and unpredictability is a lethal advantage. One thing to note about the modern version for 5th edition D&D, while the giant spider, female humanoid and melted wax tentacle monster are all forms it can shift into, it's only when it transforms into a mist that anything it is wearing or carrying is transformed along with it. In all other cases, its clothing and gear are not part of the transformation, so Yochlol will have to carry around a set of clothing for its humanoid form in case it needs it. Like any true shapeshifter, the Yochlol always reverts back to its hideous tentacle form if it's killed, and like most demons, it will explode, turning into dust, dissolve into black ichor, or something else horrible sometime after it expires. On the subject of demon deaths, just a refresher, there are some points to clear up, and I quote from the Hordes of the Abyss sourcebook. If a demon is killed on another plane, one that's not summoned to, but simply arrived at via some other method, its body eventually returns to the abyss, unless trapped through magical means. No matter what actually happens to the demon's body, if it's killed outside the abyss, its essence falls back into the raw chaos of the abyss, where it will be transformed and reformed as a new demon, and there are no assurances that it will emerge in the same form that it was. It may end up busted all the way back to being a wretched dretch. This is a risk even for Baelors, so they may require some intervention from a demon lord, who are the only ones who have enough influence over the abyss to ensure the Baelor or any other demon reforms exactly as they were. This one fact is really all one needs to explain why so many demons, which are close to being demon lords themselves, work with the demon lords rather than constantly against them. If a demon is killed within the abyss, it's destroyed, its essence dispersed into the infinite layers, so demons are a lot more cautious, if they're capable of being cautious, on their home plane. Being summoned to the prime material plane or other outer planes avoids this whole issue. When the summoning magic ends, either because the demon has kept its end of the bargain or been released, or the magic expires, or the demon's been physically killed while summoned, it just returns to the abyss, exactly as it was before, plus whatever goodies it managed to grab while it was away. For this reason, demons that have been summoned are extremely likely to fight to the death and take deadly risks. This includes demons gated in by other demons, which is a form of summoning magic. With the Yochlol, who went through a lot to achieve the form and freedom they enjoy, being returned to the abyss in another form is a terrible prospect that they will try to avoid at all costs, but only if those costs do not displease or disobey the will of Lolth. So it would be typical for Lolth to intervene and have the Yochlols reform in their original form back in the abyss, but if the Yochlol has displeased Lolth, then they can be reincarnated as something entirely different. Another thing about Yochlol, while on the subject of their physical form and demon nature, they do actually need to eat. And this is something almost all other demons don't need to do in order to survive. Why Yochlols do require food is something of a mystery. It's a very clear an indication that they're no longer like other demons and have become a new form of life, almost completely free of the influence of the abyss, but not quite. Thanks to the demonweb being a planar portal nexus, the Yochlols can travel to countless other locations without having been summoned. The bulk of the Yochlol population dwells in the demonweb, using this network to spy on the multiverse and spend a large amount of their time answering questions magically sent to them by the Drow priestesses of Lolth, and when called, stepping through summoning circles to perform tasks for Lolth's clergy. Many of Lolth's most powerful mortal priestesses have full access to the demon web, and some even dwell in the web for extended periods of time, which is not a healthy thing to do for a mortal, but they seem to think becoming mutated, corrupted, and even more evil is a good thing, so for them it's not a problem. The Yochlols, somewhat obsessed with their own new, perfected forms, offer nothing but praise and encouragement for any new mutations that sprout on a mortal's body, particularly anything that looks particularly spidery. Priestesses thus blessed with deformity will proudly display them while in the abyss. Yochlol do not appreciate being summoned by anyone not devoted to their own goddess. After all, Yochlol went through unspeakable torment willingly to get where they are. Service and rewards through Lolth is their ticket out of the abyss, and Lolth is so famously vindictive on behalf of her chosen handmaidens. The Yochlol have almost unprecedented freedom to travel through the abyss, even in the territory of other demon lords and gods. Such is the level of distaste any of them have for attracting the attention of Lolth, a demon goddess synonymous with underhanded, sneaky, cruel, and vindictive revenge. The rest of the time, Yochlols study magic and perfect their spell-casting arts. It's not that common for demons to actively learn magic rather than just innately cast spell-like effects. Lolth encourages the practice, and the Yochlols have an impressive collection of magical tomes from across the multiverse, secreted away in their huge purple crystal towers. In 5th edition, Yochlols have innate spellcasting powers based on their charisma score, with a spell save difficulty of 14. They can cast Detect Thoughts in the spell Web at will, and once per day they can cast Dominate Person. They are quite magically resistant, saving with advantage against spells or other magical effects. Traditionally, Yochlol are telepathic. You can represent this by giving them additional spell-like powers to use, such as being able to cast a spell like Fear, Telepathy, Invisibility, Charm Person, and Sending. Common spells the Yochlol learn include Cloud Kill, Stone Shape, Spider Climb, and anything that enhances Deception, Misdirection, and Disguise. They would much rather charm and conceal themselves in beauty than reveal their true form and brutally murder someone, but they are quite prepared to do either. Also, never underestimate how effective a total immunity to poison and a total willingness to poison everyone and everything around them is. They can just wipe out whole villages by simply releasing a slow poison into a well that everyone uses. They may not even warn the clergy of Lolth that they're going to do this. It's more effective to just give them an antidote afterward. Back in earlier editions, they were not merely resistant to fire and cold, they were immune to it, so locking the doors and setting everything on fire used to be a pretty reliable tactic as well. If discovered or ordered to directly attack, the Yochlol transforms into its natural form and has at it. The Yochlol has a natural armor class of 15 in any of its forms. It has 16 d8 plus 64, or between 80 and 192, with an average of 136 hit points. They have a speed of 30 feet, including a climbing speed of 30 feet in any of their forms, and they may use magical means to teleport, and if they do need to fly, they can simply transform into a toxic mist and fly without needing additional magic. They are perfectly at home in any sort of webbing. I also house rule that this includes rope climbing, such as a ship's rigging, or some Wonder Woman level of skill with an enchanted rope. They will make ample use of their ability to cast web at will. Starting combat with 1 melee attack and casting web is fairly standard. They can make 2 melee attacks each round, either a bite in spider form or a slam attack in humanoid or demon form. The attack is +6 to hit, has a reach of 10 feet in demon form or 5 feet otherwise. One target takes 1d6 plus 2 bludgeoning damage with a slam, or 1d6 plus 2 piercing damage as a bite, plus both forms of attack also inflict an automatic 6d6 poison damage with no saving throw to avoid or reduce that damage. In their toxic mist form, the Yochlol is incapacitated and can't speak. It has a flying speed of 30 feet, can hover, and can pass through any space that isn't airtight. It has advantage on strength, dexterity, and constitution saving throws, and it is immune to non-magical damage. While in its mist form, the Yochlol can enter a creature's space and stop there. Each time that creature starts its turn with the Yochlol in that space, the creature must succeed on a DC 14 Constitution saving throw or be poisoned until the start of its next turn. While poisoned in this way, the target is incapacitated, unable to take actions or reactions. In all of their forms, they have some saving throw bonuses: +6 to dexterity, +5 for intelligence, +6 to wisdom, and +6 to charisma, which makes them very difficult to charm, blind, confuse, or control for other spellcasters. They have a +10 to their deception skill and +6 to their insight skill. Their attributes are pretty high across the board. Their lowest is an intelligence of 13, which is still pretty cunning, and they speak Abyssal, Elvish, and Undercommon. Where there are Drow, there are always Yochlol. You probably won't see them, but they are there. It was a Yochlol that originally revealed the location which later became the Drow city of Menzoberranzan. They will often accompany a high priestess of Lolth in their disguise as a giant spider or a tall and very confident Drow holy warrior. Like most demons, the Yochlol don't reproduce biologically. They simply spawn new Yochlol from the horrid slime vats deep in the demonweb. However, they may be ordered to reproduce with mortals in order to create Cambion half-demons. These creatures are raised by Lolth's clergy and can be highly effective weapons of assassination and mayhem when unleashed to follow their most base and violent nature. The qualities the Drow enhance by raising them in brutal and sadistic conditions, using physical and psychological conditioning to make them loyal to the clergy but homicidal to everyone else. There is a spell from an earlier edition called Yochlol's Blessing. It's a 4th level evil cleric transmutation spell that targets one living creature within 30 feet, which lasts for 1 round per level of the caster and causes 8 tendrils to erupt from the target, which are fully under the target's control and can be used in combat to great effect. When the tendrils appear, there is a violet light and the sound of a female chuckle. In addition, the target gets a bonus to their armor class equal to their charisma bonus and resistance to acid and lightning damage. The spell requires that the caster be a Drow who is devoted to the worship of Lolth. I'll be back soon with much more information on the demonweb pits and a video all about the demon goddess Lolth herself. In the meantime, please hit the like button if you made it this far, subscribe if you like what I do, check out my Subscribestar or Patreon for links for all the full scripts for these videos. Please buy some Teespring merchandise if you feel so inclined, wear your geek with pride, and as always, thanks for listening and I'll be back with more for you very soon.